Hi friends, it's Dylan Theory with you, and today we have smiling critters on the agenda. Before we get started, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and put a like under this video. Now, let's get started. To uncover the fate of the remaining smiling critters, our initial focus lies on dissecting their cardboard cutout voice lines. Following this, we'll delve into an individual analysis of each member, scrutinizing their personalities to speculate on their potential demise. Let's commence with Bubba Fant. Renowned for his intellect among the smiling critters, Bubba assumes the role of the gang's brain, a trait evident from various instances, including his removal of Crafty Corn's painting to reveal a complex mathematical equation in the critter's introduction. His reputation as a genius draws from the factual prowess of elephants, known for their exceptional memory. Notably, his vocal expressions are comparatively subdued, barring moments of intense screaming. An intriguing observation about Bubba's voice lines is the peculiar blend of laughter and screams, adding a layer of complexity. I'm Bubba Fant. Hey, I remember you. An elephant always remembers. Want to know what I remember about you? This anomaly prompts consideration of plausible explanations for such behavior. Could be interpreted in multiple ways. When Bubba Fant utters, "Want to know what I remember about you," it could convey two distinct meanings. Firstly, it may simply denote his remarkable memory. Alternatively, it could imply recollection of our previous tenure here 10 years ago. Both interpretations hold validity, offering flexibility in understanding his statement. Now, the reason behind Bubba's laughter in his final voice line could be linked to the behavior exhibited by him and the other smiling critters towards the episode's conclusion. When the crew faced sleep deprivation and were greeted by catnap at the door, Bubba Fant was the first to seek assistance in inducing sleep. Despite pleas from everyone, once catnap released the red smoke, all, including Bubba Fant, were seen erupting into maniacal laughter. While it's uncertain if the red smoke in the show mirrors its real-life counterpart precisely, it appears to trigger symptoms of madness and addiction upon inhalation, alongside its sleep-inducing properties. That said, there's a possibility that Bubba's laughter in his final voice line is correlated with catnap, given his initial exposure to the red smoke, which may have induced laughter, providing catnap with an opportunity to harm him. Moving on to Kicking Chicken, he's recognized as the epitome of cool within the smiling critters, maintaining a composed image as depicted by his enjoyment of surfing. He exhibits a strong determination and resilience, refusing to yield even in challenging circumstances. However, like his counterparts, Kicking Chicken is susceptible to fear, evident not only in the show's portrayal, but also in his voice lines. Initially expressing a desire to venture outside and socialize, he later confesses his apprehension about being outdoors alone, seeking companionship to alleviate his fear. Despite attempting to uphold his image, he ultimately admits his trepidation, volunteering to lead the way, only to succumb to fear shortly after, as evidenced by his subsequent screams. "Hey, I'm Chicken. Want to go outside and hang out? It's looking pretty rad outside. I've never been outside. Before, would you accompany me? I'm feeling scared here. Follow my lead. I'll take the first step outside." But what implications does this hold? It's unlikely he met his demise due to exposure to the sun or some external factor. So why was he targeted immediately after attempting to explore the outdoors? Considering Playcare's overall structure, it appears to function as a controlled environment striving to mimic the outside world, a notion that becomes unsettling upon reflection. Kicking Chicken likely grasped this understanding of Playcare's nature and harbored curiosity about the genuine external world. However, I don't believe his fear stemmed from the external environment itself. During a conversation with Poppy, she warns us about the prototype's lethal response to escape attempts, emphasizing the need to eliminate it first. The prototype knows we're coming. If you try to escape, he'll terminate you before you even reach the front door. Kicking Chicken was probably cognizant of the potential consequences awaiting him if he dared to step beyond the confines of the building. Once he made the attempt, he was likely met with demise, either at the hands of catnap or the prototype. Now, we turn our attention to Piggy, a proponent of healthy eating habits who advocates for a balanced diet among her companions. Despite this, she harbors a clandestine affection for cheeseburgers and PB&J sandwiches. Her dialogue often revolves around her adoration for food, gradually transitioning to mention meals comprised of her fellow smiling critters. Surprisingly, even after consuming her companions, she admits to still feeling hungry and extends an offer of friendship to us. "Hi there, I'm Piggy. Let's eat. Roast beef, delicious grilled chicken, down the hat, seared elephant, yum, slayed unicorn. I feel hungry. Hey, what do you say you and I be friends?" With this revelation, it becomes evident that Piggy devoured all of her friends and yet remained unsatiated. This poses two significant quandaries. How does this align with the circumstances surrounding the demise of the other characters, and what led to her own demise subsequent to consuming everyone? It becomes apparent that Piggy must have been the last to perish, especially considering the absence of screams or indications of her demise in any of her voice lines. In the final voice line, Hopscotch is heard screaming "jump," with the audio abruptly cutting out. Just before this, she advises not to focus on one's feet, emphasizing that it doesn't matter. Her dialogue initiates a countdown for attempting to hop to the moon together. Despite repeated attempts, she insists that they won't cease until they reach the moon. However, during the last try, she's heard screaming while saying "jump," suggesting a tragic outcome. It appears Hopscotch became deluded into believing she could leap to the moon, and in her final attempt, she likely lost awareness of her surroundings, leading to a fatal fall from a high platform. Moving on to Bobby Bear Hug, she exudes warmth and appreciation, reminiscent of Huggy Wuggy's design. Bobby deeply cares for her friends and surroundings, perhaps excessively so. However, her caring nature can sometimes render her naive, especially when she extends her compassion to those who may not reciprocate it or have her best interests at heart. She's also depicted as having a fear of abandonment, expressing concern to the player about being left behind and mentioning that she's been lost for a long time. Her dialogue conveys deep affection, stating her love and dependency on the player. Bobby's fear of abandonment is particularly poignant, considering her nurturing nature towards others. It's heartbreaking to see her, who cares deeply for everyone, end up feeling abandoned. The question arises, why and how was Bobby left behind? It's plausible that her clingy tendencies made others reluctant to remain close to her, leading to her abandonment. Alternatively, she may have been one of the last survivors and couldn't locate anyone else, explaining her prolonged sense of being lost. When she asks, "You won't leave me this time, will you?" she's likely referring to the player leaving Playtime Company, expressing her desperate plea not to be abandoned again. Returning to Bobby Bear Hug, she expresses her reluctance to see us leave again, indicating her deep-seated fear of abandonment. Subsequently, left with no one to love, converse with, or provide sustenance, Bobby gradually succumbed to starvation. It's plausible she was never found, as Piggy never mentioned consuming bear in any of her voice lines. Now on to Crafty Corn, a creative unicorn with a passion for art, who shares its significance with the crew members. Crafty Corn also exhibits peacemaking qualities, finding beauty in everything around her. In the cartoon's intro, she showcases her talent as a painter by creating an exact replica of Bobby Bear Hug. In her voice lines, Crafty Corn appears to be working on another painting, but realizes she's run out of red paint. Upon being informed of this, she grows suspicious, accusing the player of withholding more red from her and demands it, followed by screams. After obtaining the red paint, she declares the painting much improved. "Hi, I'm Crafty Corn. Can you help me with my painting? Thanks. Now, can you give me some red? More red, please." It appears that Crafty Corn's dialogue about the missing red paint is directed towards a member of the Smiling Critters, implying that she may be referring to their blood. The subsequent scream suggests that she might have killed one of them to obtain the red paint she needed for her painting. However, the circumstances of her own demise are less clear. Crafty Corn could have perished either from starvation or as a result of retaliation from the other Smiling Critters after witnessing her violent behavior. Unfortunately, her voice lines do not provide a definitive explanation for her death. Lastly, we have Dog Day, the trusted leader of the Smiling Critters, known for his optimistic outlook and encouraging demeanor. In his voice lines, Dog Day instructs the player to leave and questions why they're still present. He emphasizes that they cannot stay, followed by an extended scream longer than those of the other members who died. Dog Day's dialogue is particularly disturbing because it hints at his fate. When he urges the player to go fetch, He's likely expressing his desire for them to leave Playtime Company. His subsequent remarks about not being able to stay and questioning their presence indirectly reveal his dissent towards Playtime Co.'s ideology, particularly that of the prototype. Consequently, Dog Day may have been tortured by Catnap and the prototype for encouraging others to escape, a fate often reserved for heretics. This could explain the prolonged screams heard. The moment when Dog Day's legs are severed and hit the ground intensifies the horror of his death, particularly since his verbalizations on the cardboard cutout were essentially identical to what he was conveying in person. Here comes the end of my video about the smiling critters. I'd love to hear what you think of them in the comments. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and give it a like to stay up to date with all my new reviews. That was Dylan Theory, and see you soon.